Welcome, everyone, to episode 68. We have a very special guest, first-time industry expert on the Bunker Talk.
I love it.
Super excited. I'm so happy it's you. This is Colette Hauzeur. We met in the Goldman Sachs program, which we're also going to discuss. Tell everybody about yourself, what you do, who you are, and all that fun stuff.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
I'm excited.
Ciara is an amazing entrepreneur, woman, person. We clicked in the cohort.
Yeah.
And so thank you for having me. I love what you do. You're very passionate about it, and just being part of your crew, of your cohort. And now we're working together,
Yes.
and I love this. So
Thank you for coming.
Making this podcast, which is very educational, and that's part of what I do. So, like you said, my name is Colette Hauzeur. I'm a credit counselor, and I've been in the business for 22 years plus now. And that's what I do, credit counseling with better credit solutions, and Spanish, mejora el crédito.
Nice. Okay. So, like I said, first one in the chair in this industry, and so many questions because I think there's a lot of misinformation
Yes.
about what you do and just the credit industry as a whole. I feel like it's taboo.
Absolutely.
People don't like to talk about it. So I think that's detrimental, right? Because we just stay misinformed. We don't know, and nobody is willing or open enough to ask the questions.
Unfortunately, what I have found out, that is not just culturally, because I'm Hispanic, but I'm also half Belgium, like I have the background, right? It's not cultural, but it's like overall, it's like whether I'm talking about somebody that is from Europe or Australia or Colombia or the US, it doesn't matter. We rather talk about our emotional distress, our physical disabilities, or if I have an illness. But when it comes to saying I'm in trouble, I have financial issues, and I don't know where it's very hard because we have a big ego, all of us. So I'm very, very excited always when somebody tells me, give me time to talk to you about my situation. I feel that it always keeps me humble. I absolutely love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. And well, yes, there is a big taboo, but there's always a solution. There's always a way out. I always tell my clients, we just need to find it.
So perfect layup for me to ask you this first question, because I think that, okay, if I'm someone that is in financial despair, or it feels like I'm heading that way, when is the right time to look for you? Is it, I stopped paying my credit cards. Explain to me when the timing is right where you guys could help the person that is in the need. What are the triggers that they should know about?
I think at any time. You can reach at any time, because I've had clients where they have just moved to the US and they just keep getting declined. I don't know how to start credit. Or like, us, people that have a business, that they're entrepreneurs, but they don't know why I'm not getting credit. Like my personal credit is not enough. Or at some times, like what you said, I'm going through a financial hardship. Something happened, because that's life. And I don't know whether I should stop paying my credit cards, if I qualify for bankruptcy. There's a lot of misinformation, especially with social media, and I keep hearing this over and over again. I'm not supposed to pay my debt once it goes to collections. And I'm like, who in the world put that out there, that everybody keeps telling me that? And that is the biggest lie that there is. And I keep telling clients, if that was the case, bankruptcy wouldn't exist. There's always a repercussion when you don't pay. When you don't pay your debt, it's going to go to collections, then you'll get another lawsuit. Oh, a lawsuit is not going to affect me. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So there's a lot of misconceptions.
That's interesting too. I feel like just being in the public, right? Not being involved in your space, I would assume that your services are for someone that is in need, financial, in a financial situation that's rocky, not even someone just looking to maximize their credit.
Absolutely.
Right?
No, absolutely. I have I work with a lot of mortgage officers and people that they're like, well, my score is, I don't know, 695 at this time. How can I get it to 750? So my pre-qualification, and so I can get a better rate when I'm going to do a mortgage or whether I'm refinancing. So it doesn't mean that you have to be financially going through a hardship to find the best way. Or there's a lot of clients that are like, I'm stuck. I've been at 710, 720 for the past 11 months, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So we have to find, because it's at the end of the day, It's just finding out through a statistic, which is the FICO score or the Vantage score, what model we're looking at. And I love that, by the way. I did statistics, yes.
Oh, nice.
So I love that. And now it makes sense, no? I was telling my mom this morning, like, Mom, it's just that because I looked at my diploma, we were cleaning up, and I'm like, I remember this. And I remember going through so many statistic classes. If my teachers knew what I do now, that I'm actually
you're using it. You're one of the few that ends up using it. That's so funny. That's actually really
But yeah, then I tell my clients and I look at it and I'm like always studying away. And I tell my husband when he's like, why are you so many hours in that chair? I'm like, because this is my trono. Mm-hmm. I stay here and I focus and I plan and I make it happen. And it's a statistic and there's always a way.
I love that. I feel like people don't, obviously we all know we need credit and it's important. And I think a lot of young people make mistakes with their credit initially. And it's kind of just like almost like an identity thing, even with yourself, where you're just like, well, I have bad credit. I'm bound to be poor or not rich or not have enough money to do what I want. Like it's a mental.
Right.
I feel like it really takes a toll on you mentally when you're going through that, the declinations and things like that. And I think that nobody really talks about your role in the American dream process, right? Like lenders that I've had in this chair, right? They're like, I make the American dream possible. I help people buy homes. Well, so do you.
Yes. No,
it's a critical part.
It is. It's actually, this morning I had a client. He stayed with me for 20 minutes talking. And sometimes I just have to, talk about like life. We were talking about, obviously right now it's going the FIFA and the World Cup and all that. So we're talking about that because sometimes we don't talk just about credit, just like, in your industry. And I've built this relationship with him for over a year. But sometimes hearing that thank you, like you have made a difference. Like I had a misconception how to use my credit cards. And right now I'm actually he was going to travel. He paid his entire trip, this time to República Dominicana, to Dominican Republic, through his credit cards because he got the cash back. He paid at the hotel, everything just by using credit. And he's like, I cannot believe it. Like I'm doing this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, it can happen. And it's just not me, it's you. And then he's also starting his own business at this time. So it is very rewarding to know that you're actually helping someone along the way, just like you and just like that mortgage officer, just like everyone,
It's we're all working together to get people across the finish line, for sure. What is, in your opinion, the biggest misconception about what you do, about the credit counseling service?
Sometimes I feel people... Well, obviously, we want to hear the easy way out, as always. So I have absolutely nothing against bankruptcy when it is right. But I'm not going to tell somebody if you don't know what the toll is going to be, because it does take a toll. People feel that, I'm just going to do bankruptcy and that's it. I'm like, no, there is going to be an effect on your credit, on your public record. If you have certifications, there's things that I like to advise. And again, there are situations where I do a consultation. My first consultation is free. Why? Because I need to know if I'm able to get you out of that you have, or if we're going to be able to create those goals, and if it's actually something that is doable, or if you need to find a right lawyer to do bankruptcy. What chapter? We're talking about chapter 7. Usually people have this misconception. Oh, no, with the bankruptcy, I don't have to pay. Excuse me, sir, you have 2 companies. It's not going to happen. You're not basically doing bankruptcy. What's going to happen with your business? Look at the income that you have. So there's a lot of...
Complicated.
Yes. And when I do the consultation, sometimes I've been like, listen, there's resistance because there's also a misconception with the bankruptcy. And I tell them, no, this is the best way for you right now. There's nothing I can do. I don't like to lie to clients to tell them like, you're going to be debt free in 3 years. That's not the case. Look at the debt, look at your income, unless something changes, unless, something specific. But I feel that there's a lot of misconceptions. People also love to hear, oh, you do credit repair, so you just go and you erase the account. And I'm like, no, I'm not a hacker. I don't hack the credit bureaus. I don't do that. Or yes, they've told me like, oh, you have a magic, do your magic. And I'm like, it's not a magic. It's there is a process. And I also like to Always. I always like to create like those goals so that the client, we can get and we start like moving step by step to accomplish those goals. And always, you always have to like find the next step, right? Like the next step after. Up to the point where they no longer need me. Because the thing is that as a credit counseling, there's a lot of counseling. So sometimes I'm like, okay, the relationship has to get, come to an end unless there's something where I feel you feel and we both feel that we can work together. But unless that's not necessary and you don't need to, you're not going to stay with me forever. So you need to learn, you need to create that plan. And
then
for me,
set them free.
Yes. And then I am like, there you go. You made it happen.
Yeah. It's what I'm hearing too, is that people just assume, like you said, the magic wand, it's a quick fix. No, this is it's a process,
It is.
right?
It is a process.
And the counseling word is appropriate because it's half therapy, half strategy, right?
Exactly.
Like people, I'm assuming the conversations that you have are pretty emotional.
They are. And I honestly think that I have that talent. Like I feel I have that because it doesn't burn me out. Not everyone that I've hired can and is willing to be in a chair talking to people about their situation, because it's a financial load of emotions, not just the numbers. You're not just looking at statistics and FICO scores and Vantage scores, and no, that's not the case. We are also talking about this happened to me.
Heavy things, right?
I lost my husband. And there's like always stories behind.
Right.
So your task is to obviously be as, and I always tell my crew, I have a lot of faith. So I always put my faith, and I always tell, okay, if I'm here in this share, it's because I'm going to help as many people as I can. You're also here because you're going to help as many people as you can. But when you feel that it's taking a toll, you need to just, step back, tell me I cannot take this case. I feel that this person is overwhelmed with emotions, and then I'll do it. I'll do it. Because for me it's very personal. What I do is very personal. The story behind it, and we'll get to that whenever you want me to ask. But there's a personal story behind how everything in life put me to do what I do. And I feel that because I have that vocation, because I have it in me, in my talents, in my industry, in the 22 years plus that I've been doing this, I'm like, no, this is why it doesn't take a toll for me. This is why I'm able to transform that emotions, and that's why we're able to create a plan of action, and we see the results, and the person is slowly but surely getting out of it. And you're just holding their hands, and obviously it's a transaction. I cannot work for free, right? But at the end of the day, it's a service, and I'm very glad that I get to do it. And for me, it's my community. The people that I work with is my second family. Well, it's my first family because obviously it's my mom and my sister, but my crew and everyone that in my staff, I treat them as family because they are my second family. Yep.
Yeah, I think that. Even me, I'm helping people with business insurance, right? But sometimes even that, it's personal, and they open up to, I think it's the, obviously because your hands are in their personal information, right? So you see more than I do, but you're seeing stuff that nobody sees, right? Decisions that were made, numbers, amounts, mistakes, all that stuff. But even I feel it sometimes where I'm just like, wow, you end up carrying a little bit of their load, or you're rooting extra hard for them to pass that finish line, because you're invested in their success. And I think that that's part of the reason why you guys are so great at what you do, because of that, how personal you take what you do and setting them up, right? Like you're so invested in their success that if they don't win, you don't win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's very frustrating when we don't get to the goal immediately, and we're like, well, we have to restructure it that way. But there's always a solution. There's always a solution, always. And helping the client, I know, we're talking about finances and numbers and payouts and all that, but the emotional part where you're telling me, for me, is like that conversation I had with this client today. I wasn't expecting it, but the fact that he gets to tell me thank you 3 times throughout the call, you know what? I'm like, Thank you. No, thank you for letting me know that I'm doing a good job. Sometimes you need to hear this from your clients, even if you're doing this for 25, 20, whatever amount of years. Knowing that what you're doing is making a difference in somebody's life, and it's awesome.
So tell me what the difference is. Educate us. And I honestly don't know myself, so the audience may not either. What is the difference in between credit counseling and credit repair? What is the obvious difference?
So credit repair is inside the credit counseling. So credit counseling, we were talking about where you are financially, budgeting. In credit repair, somebody that is actually just going to do the credit repair, not necessarily it's going to go over your budget. It's not necessarily going to talk about the entire spectrum of your finances, of where you are financially, of where, I always tell my clients, do you have a checking account? And they're like, yes, or sometimes they go like, no, because, right? Because there's always a reason. Like, okay, that's the first thing we need to fix, because if you don't have a bank account, a relationship with a bank, then obviously this is not gonna work out. So we need to educate people. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I'm the best in the industry, but I do a very good job. And sometimes I don't mind if a client is not going to be a client right away, even if a client is going to refer me to his cousin or a person, down the line. But just giving that education to the person so that they can actually make it happen at their own terms, in their own time, because I cannot push a client to make their goals. But I know everybody is talented, and I always tell them, because there's, sometimes they're just changing careers, or I have a lot of people from different parts of the world, and everybody comes to this country with the American dream, and I'm like, you can make it. If I made it, everybody can make it. It's just a matter of structuring yourself and going from 1 to 10, and we will help you throughout that course. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I answered the question.
So, when you say
the credit repair,
when the credit repair is included in the counseling,
it's just one part, because what people know as credit repair, quote unquote, is working basically the information of your credit report with the credit bureaus. So that's what people believe. And again, remember the notion of, if you go and you erase with your magic wand those derogatory accounts. I'm like, no, that's just doing disputes and that is just one part of the entire process of doing a proper credit counseling. Now, there's another service within credit counseling, which is possibly doing credit, like settlements. Mm-hmm. But there's also another service where you monitor your credit. There's a way to boost your score. So there's different things that you do inside doing the service of credit counseling. And obviously there's different programs for different clients. There's I have a program based just somebody who's doing bankruptcy. So I have a pre and a post bankruptcy. I should call it like a class, but it's also a service, because at the end of the day, I'm giving you information, but I'm doing the counseling.
Right. So it's like a track. Yeah, it's like a path.
Exactly. And it goes through stages. And just like that, I always tell my clients, this is why the service is way more than what you would think is just credit repair. You can actually do disputes online. And I always, yourself, absolutely, right? Yeah. Like there's so many tools out there. And I always tell my clients, if it's that easy, if I just have a consultation with a client and I see that they just have to dispute it, I'm like, do it on your own. It's just one dispute. I'm not going to charge you to just do one dispute, because there's only this thing on your credit. But for the most part, and I feel that there's always so many opportunities that we miss. So I tell my client, okay, you can do this on your own. Try to do it. But a couple of weeks later, I get a call. I'm like, I did it, but I like what you tell me. Like, get me on board, because I want to do this.
It sounds like it's elementary school, middle school, high school, and you graduate for credit.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds like you get them in the door. It's not just a repair or a dispute. It's a holistic approach to all of it, right? Because if you have those things, great. That's the problems that we can work on. But still, how do we positively reinforce the credit or grow the capacity, whatever that is? To me, in my head, I feel like it's like I see it in silos. Elementary school, we get you in the door, we get you through 5th grade, all right, then middle school, and then you graduate if you reached your goal and you can maintain it, and life doesn't happen again, or whatever the circumstances are that happened to you in the first place. Then it's something that it's a learned behavior that you have left them with, which is incredible.
And every month when I monitor credit, that's when, when you get personal and you're like, well, I know well, I told you not to use this amount, but I see it.
Yeah.
What happened? And then they tell you the story. No, this happened. And okay. Let's restructure it. Let's do this. There's always a reason why people do things. There's always, and you just need to understand the why so you can fix it. And it's just a behavior.
Right.
It's just an understanding. But once I understand that if I go over the 30% of the credit limit on my credit card, it's going to affect my score because I see it over and over again, or I'm stuck at a certain credit score, then obviously I understand that I need to change, right? And it's so that is great. I love all the tools that out there. Like they tell me, aren't you scared about AI? I'm like, no. If anything, I love it because it's reinforcing what I'm telling the client. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have to fight it. I'm like, no, don't go that way. They're telling you, but what they missed is that for you to get to this, you first need to do X, Y, and Z. Because if you apply, then you're gonna get denied. So let's just wait because you're not there yet. But that's the difference.
And so then, explain to me the concept, very basically, on the effect that personal credit has for entrepreneurs. So maybe my credit's in the middle, and I'm starting a business, and I need a line of credit, I need a loan, how do the two are the businesses building credit on their own, like on their own 2 feet? How does that work?
Yes. So once you get a business, and I work with a lot of like I told you, people from other countries, and they come here, or even people that, because this is something that is happening. A lot of people, for example, from Colombia, they're bringing their business, or they're buying property here. They're creating their own business here. The business have its own EIN. Mm-hmm. So with that, it's like a quote unquote social, just to clarify it. It's a different thing, but it's just the same for the business, right? So people use that EIN with the business, and we're gonna create that business credit. However, like you have your own social, I have my social. For your business, they're always going to do, even if it's a soft inquiry, even if they're just going to review your credit to make sure that how you're behaving, your numbers, because you can have several businesses. I know you're a very successful woman, so I'm sure you have different businesses. And so when that happens, they're going to look at your credit to see how much, based on the revenue of the company, they can qualify the credit, whether it is a credit card or a loan or a line of credit, right? And that's why I tell my clients that it's very important to do it right, because if you are at 620, 630 FICO score, most likely you're not going to get started, you're not going to do the right thing, the startup, the business that you want to structure, or that you're already getting started, because for the most part they have already started their business, they've been in business for a couple months or a year or so, and I tell them, okay, this is the time where, what have you done for your business, like credit wise? And they're like, I don't know, I don't think so, I don't think I have anything other than my checking account. So I'm like, okay, so the first step is to create the first line of credit that I usually advise people to do is a utility bill, because it's the easiest and the cheapest, and for the most part, every business needs
naturally
a phone number.
Right.
So let's just go to one of the providers, whatever you feel comfortable with, that they actually report to the credit, because commercial credit is so different than personal credit, and that is also a beauty, because it does take into account this type of accounts that for your personal.
So when you say utility, you mean like even my water, FPL, telephones?
It has happened that I do it with either internet, but for the most part I start with a cell phone. With a cell phone line, like a line, because you need a line or any type of application to be like, this is the address of the company, Beauty Plus, this is the cell phone, this is the address, and I tell them, let's just get started, because you're already budgeting yourself for that expense on a monthly basis, and we're going to start doing that credit, that commercial credit. And slowly but surely, obviously depending on the revenue, depending on where they are financially, their personal credit score, it's always gonna go back to they checked my personal credit and it was a good thing or a bad thing. So I always want to get them in a position where they are in a good credit score, where they're where they're ready for the banks to start seeing you in a good way. Because if you can have the best business plan, you can have, and another important thing is the relationship that you have with the bank, your checking account, it's super important because I've got so many denials because they're just, overdrafted all the time. And I'm like, no, but your credit is great. But why are you doing this with your checking account? We need to also take a consideration that is a very important relationship, especially with your commercial lines. So please do not close your checking because you got overdrafted. All that goes on record. People don't think so, but that goes on record. Yeah. For your personal and your commercial.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And so then I have so many questions because it's so I'm getting started, right? Mm-hmm. Beauty Plus, like you said, Beauty Plus opening doors. I opened my doors July 1st. Okay. I from working with you, right? Initially, so my personal credit is over here. I get a utility bill, like you said, a phone. Do landlords check credit? And I know that's a broad question. So, but like in theory, if my landlord was, thank God, my landlord's my dad. So, but when they check credit, is it the EIN credit or is it personal?
They will do both.
Both, right?
Yeah, because they know you just started your business, so you're probably not gonna get anything reported yet to the commercial EIN yet. And it's gonna take a while. But again, that's why I'm telling you the relationship that you create with the bank, your checking account is very important because I've seen businesses that if you have good revenue, they will start offering you immediately. Oh, look, this is let me just provide you with your first business credit card. And that's great. Mm-hmm. And that, then you're getting the first business credit line other than that cell phone. Mm-hmm. But yes, they're always going to look at your personal credit and not the mistake because I did it and I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing it. We are trying very hard to start a business. And if I have good credit, I can sort of although you shouldn't officially, but a lot of people are like, oh, I'm using my credit card to help my business. Right. And throughout the first year or so, I've seen a lot of people do it. Then after you need to detach because obviously you're lending. It's just like you're lending money to your own business. It's the same thing, but you're doing it through your credit. I've seen people do it. It's very often that people do it while the commercial credit lines start, getting to the point that you're actually going to be able to start. Because it depends. Like, I don't know, Beauty Plus, maybe it needs to buy some supplies. Sure. And you're going to do it through your credit. Right.
And so then Beauty Plus starts, right? 6 months, a year in, great. Now they need a line of credit or a loan. What is, from your perspective or your experience, like our line of, I've heard like, don't borrow the money until you need it. Yeah. The line of credit though, like that concept of, well, should I just get a line of credit just for the rainy day and leave it there? Like, does that impact it in a negative way? What is your
I think opinion? Well, the first year is hard because you're telling me like, what about the first year? I'm like, we don't know what the hell, until the first year passes and you have like those numbers, because a business can be very successful whether you're making $200,000 or 500 or $1 million or 5. It doesn't matter, but it's just depending on the expenses that you have and all that. So, and obviously the goals that you have to grow the business. But I don't think in the first year, unless even if you have very good credit, they're going to start giving you lines of credit. And be careful because there's a big misconception with the payday loans. So just be very careful with that because I've seen it over and over again where they're like, oh yeah, I had a line of credit. And then I look at it and I'm like, no, that's not a line of credit. And that's not a loan. It's a payday loan. And it's very expensive.
And what is that? Explain. I don't know too much about that.
So it's different type of, you're going to find everything out there, right? The most beneficial, it just make sure that when and if you get an offer, because I even get offers every day. I get calls and texts.
Every day I get into QuickBooks, I get an email, a pop-up. You've been pre-approved. You've been pre-qualified for a line of credit. Apply or claim it here. And I'm just like, yeah, but I don't, like, even that's honestly, that's the kind of question I have. Like, should I get it just in case to have it there for an emergency or no,
I mean, you've been in business for a while, so I would love to talk to you. Yeah. I would love to have a consultation with you because having good credit and having lines of credit are, it doesn't mean that you need to use them. For example, I have so many credit cards for the business. It doesn't mean that I need to use them all. It's just they're there and they have good credit, because they're also actually every month the revolving accounts are doing their thing of giving me that check mark on my credit report, talking about commercial, right? And that is helping my score get better, so that whenever I see an opportunity, because you're going to buy a building or something, you can use those funds. You can use that line of credit that you had, like whatever it is that you're looking for, because you had good credit. So I don't like to tell people don't use credit for your advantage. On the contrary, use it as much as you can, because just like banks are making money, you're supposed to make money out of your own credit. You're supposed to grow financially. That's the whole thing. It's not just to create debt. And so I'm always fighting people that don't believe in credit. I'm like, how do you think people actually make it into
the world revolves on this? Yeah,
absolutely.
Like the world revolves on this.
Banks, that's what banks do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, obviously I'm proof that I have a successful business and I have a very good lifestyle because of credit, because of credibility. And I love that. Now, what you mentioned, yes, there's a lot of phishing, unfortunately, but there's a lot of fraud. So I would also be very careful. But the difference with the regular loan and the payday loan is that the interest that they charge is per day. It's super high. And they go very quickly into collections. With a loan that you're defaulted, it takes a while, right, for it to go to collections. And regardless, it can be settled. If that's your situation, we can help. But I would just be careful. Be careful.
Yeah. I know that, and like we've already discussed, people get into I feel like the misconception or the judgment around credit is that people get into the positions they're in because they're negligent. And I would assume that it's life has happened. It's
Absolutely.
Not carelessness. It's life happened, deaths, illnesses, moving, job losses, and so it's like in those scenarios, people get desperate, and social media does a really good job at misinformation.
Oh
my God, TikTok. I have seen on TikTok just people, I filed for bankruptcy and in 6 months, and it's just, and then I'm always curious. So I look at the comments, and the comments people are asking this person, like, how'd you do it? Like if they're the expert.
I know.
And you don't even know if they're telling the truth. It could be like clickbait, like it's just for clicks. It's so wild. It's so wild to me how they do it with insurance too, but just the concept of things that are so critical to our life success, it's just narrowed down to a 30-second video.
The biggest misconception that I've been hearing for the last couple of months, and I keep doing a lot of, even when I go to radio, I'm like, listen, people, this is a lie. Please stop falling into. If the accounts went to collections, you're not supposed to pay them, because they go poof, they disappear. To the point that we did a video with my sister on social media that she goes like, the accounts in collection, poof, they disappear. Honestly, like, no, it's just not. There's a repercussion always. What do you mean? If the account went to collections, I'm not going to get a lawsuit. Yes, you will. If you don't pay it, it can end up with a law office, and you're going to get a lawsuit. And that happens a lot of times. I get a lot of also, it's good that we're talking about this. With the lawsuits, a lot of people do not get the report until you're looking into your public record. And that is because you moved the address that you have. Not everybody is doing what you're supposed to do, which is officially changing your physical address when you move and all that. Or sometimes you used to use the address of your grandmother, and so that's the address that the lender had, for whatever reason. But the lawsuit is there. No, I never, because I didn't know. So if I don't see it, if I don't see it, it's not there.
It doesn't exist. Yeah. If I don't think about it, it's not.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I'm like, no, it does happen.
And it catches up to you.
Yeah. No, and I've had clients where their credit is great. It's 740 or so, and then I check, and I'm like, yeah, but in the public record we have the lawsuit is there. It's just not going to your credit because it already expired. So the limitation of it being reported with the original lender has already passed, but because the lawsuit took place within the time, because it just, one thing is the federal limitation, the other ones are the state limitations, and the state limitations obviously varies. So in Florida, if you got the lawsuit, it's still active, they're gonna garnish your wages, they're gonna and currently I have a client that's like, but they haven't liened my property. I'm like, it doesn't matter. The judgment's there. So it's going to happen. Even if you want to do something with the property, don't ask me. Ask a mortgage lender. Go to somebody that works in the field, not social media. Right. And they will tell you, you're going to be responsible to pay that off. If not, you're not going to be able to do, that move that you want to do with your property. So there's always...
it's complicated, people. You need an expert.
Exactly.
You need an expert to navigate this before you fall into that scenario. If you're in it, if you're out of it, but you're on the reparation side, right? Maybe you did pay off the collections. Maybe you dealt with the lawsuit. You could still use you in the. I hate to say the repair part because it's tied to the credit repair, but in the financial repair of rebuilding
your credit.
The credit.
No, and I love that part. That's the fun part, right?
Yeah,
when we get to that point, because I mean the settlements, I love to be super aggressive for my clients. So I'm like, how much are we willing to work this for? This is what I know this lender is willing to do. But once we get, and we move past that, and they're very grateful, and I'm also very happy because we saved a lot of money. But after is the fun part, because that's when we start rebuilding the credit, and I'm like, no. You're not going to get that credit card. That credit card is not good for you because X, Y, and Z. Now, this account, it's going to give you cash back. What is that? Or we're going to use it this way. Or this one, it gives you rewards. And depending on the consumer, because you need to understand what type of consumer you are. Obviously, while you're doing the counseling and it takes a couple of months, at that time, I know what type of consumer you are. If I see somebody that is, they're in the urge of going shopping every other week or so, I'm always going to advise them to stay away from so many accounts, but I will give them the tools to use your credit to your benefit. Because I always tell people, listen, credit is it's money. It's literally money. So it's a tool. It's a tool. Mm-hmm. It's a tool, and it has to be used for but you also have to be careful because psychologically, it's so much easier for me to spend $100 on a credit card than $100 in cash. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's just how it is.
It's how it is. And honestly, they build it that way. Mm-hmm. They trap you. Yeah. It's. What do you think about this buy now, pay later stuff? What do you think is the? It
actually shows. Oh, I love that you talk about that. Klarna is one of the top. And what? Klarna is reporting on my credit? Yeah, it is. It is. I took a cruise not long ago, and when we were gonna pay with my husband, I'm like, oh look, Klarna is financing even cruises. They're financing everything. People, everything.
Don't they finance Uber Eats?
Oh my God!
You can do like Uber Eats on
Klarna divided in so many payments, but I do see it, and it's being reported on your credit. So something that I'm very glad you mentioned this. It is reported. It is reported on your credit. Klarna, JP Morgan Chase Bank is doing it as well. So anything because it obviously there's a disclosure. It's just that we don't really read everything that we finance. Just like a mattress that they tell you, oh, you can pay, I don't know, maybe in 10 months or what's so. It will be reported on your credit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's not a credit line. It's not going to stay open. It's just like sort of if it was like a small loan and then you just pay it throughout those 10 months or 9.
But it affects your capacity.
It will. Of course. And what benefit are you getting there? Instead of using a credit card, I love educating people on, look, the balance transfers are not bad if you know how to use them properly. And especially for big things like mattresses, or if you have to change, I love to explain to my clients, okay, if you have to change your laundry set, right? Like your washer and dryer, instead of going to Best Buy or, I don't know, Home Depot and getting a new credit card, you already have this credit card. And this credit card is going to offer you this option of paying 0 interest rate. You're only going to get charged 3 to 5% on once we do the balance transfer. And you're going to pay these throughout these 12 months. And we just budget for it and we move your budget. Because having that budget is very important. That's after you sign my agreement and you're obviously in a program, the first thing that we look at is your budget. Always. We start working together. And little by little, people are more comfortable talking about their numbers and opening up because... obviously, that I need to know.
Yeah, look, there's no sense in hiding information from you because then the objective of the program will not work.
It will not.
Yeah,
it will not.
You need to be honest.
And when we have to work through settlements and judgments, it's very important. And something that I'm going to tell everybody. They're like, no, I'm doing so bad. I'm like, I have your mailing address. Like, I know how much you're paying on rent. It's like, it's public record. Like, I know how much you're paying on rent. So don't tell me you're paying $600 because I know it's not the case, right?
Or a little bit of an investigator.
Yeah, and your credit tells you everything. I look at your credit and you have an installment on a car payment of $800. I know your income is not what you're telling me, is. And people have to be careful with that because they go with that notion and they try to file for bankruptcy, and people just be careful. The fact that you're paying a lawyer doesn't mean that the bankruptcy is going to go through. Mm-hmm. And so just be careful because it does take a toll.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we have unpacked quite a bit. I want to talk to you about business.
Yes.
How did you get started in this space?
How did I get started? So when we came to the States, we lived in California, and then we moved to Florida. And in Florida, my parents had acquired a credit card with, I forget, whoever it was one of those furniture. Mm-hmm. And they were in debt. And it wasn't that much, but my mom was concerned. So she, at that time, the consolidation, talking to you about, 25 years ago. The consolidation used to be something that at that time you could consolidate certain accounts. So she consolidated that debt, right? I don't know what interest rate it had. Maybe it was at 28%, and she consolidated that account, so you only pay 11%. But you pay it throughout 3 or 4 years. And she got she was very interested in that. So she actually went and met with the owner of that consolidation company, and we started doing the consultation. We started working with him. I was in high school, so I found out, and I was like, oh my God, I'm super interested in this. And one day I talked to him, and he's like, well, if you want to work after school, you're welcome to do so. And of course, my mom gave me permissions, and I loved it because we had a lot of clientele from California. And talking like in Spanish, there's a lot of slogans. There's a way to if you're from Mexico, you have a different way to. For example, debt, they call it culebras. Mm-hmm. I'm from Colombia, so culebras doesn't mean that. So it's like there's ways,
nuances.
Yeah, and that made me understand them easier and connect with them because I used to live there for a while. So I understood, and I just fell in love with it. To be honest, that was my first thing. We became then obviously business owners on our own. Because my mom had already made her way on understanding how to do the advertising, and she's really good in sales. She is an excellent saleswoman. So, and that's why I love sales too, right?
She's great.
I had a good teacher. So, at that time, somebody told her, I think he was from Argentina, and I always thank that guy. I'm like, if that guy had not pushed my mom so much, he's like, you do it, because she used to charge you. She was doing consultations to different companies to help them grow sales. But he's like, no, you should do your own company. Do it, not just for you to do consultation as a sales rep. Do it. And we started doing it, and we moved past working with a nonprofit, which was huge at that time, nationwide. We helped a lot of people because in the industry of credit counseling, things have changed throughout the last 22 years that we've been in business. So consolidation nowadays is so different, right? Mm-hmm. Settlements are very different. Credit repair is very different. And also the credit counseling. And throughout that time, we've been just helping the community. We focused obviously in the Spanish-speaking community. We've been growing our business and helping and just, doing what we do. But I feel that although it's a family thing, I feel that we both, I can tell you, the mission and vision that we both have to help people to get out of debt, to be better, not just because it's something that I love doing, but because I know firsthand when we came to the States that it was hard and that you can actually make it. You can actually, like you said, you have the American dream. But because we've been there, we were also immigrants. Right. We were also, it's not, thank God, I've always had money. And honestly, sometimes people are like, oh, but you've never been in debt. Or, I'm like, yeah, well, not that bad, but I understand because I was there. I saw my parents struggling when we came to the States, and it wasn't like we were always super wealthy to be traveling and having a great lifestyle. So I understand. And in a very also personal note, my grandma from my mom's side, she lost her brother because he committed suicide because he had a lot of debt. And at that time, there was a lot of misconceptions, and obviously we're talking about 90 years plus or something like that when he committed suicide, because people back then couldn't really do bankruptcy. And I'm talking about in Colombia, but that always stayed with me, right?
But that's to the psychological, how heavy it is for people to carry the shame of debt.
Absolutely.
It is so heavy. And even when people do crazy things, act out, they self-destruct, there's usually an element of financial despair involved in it. So I understand, and you don't have to go through it personally to be able to, be an expert to help people.
But that's why just, everything clicked together. Right. I feel like all the puzzles in my life just went and bloop, and I'm like, oh, it makes sense. This is why I'm so passionate about it, right? Yeah. Because although I never got to meet my grandmother's brother, and
but it was impactful because you knew about it.
Because I knew about it, and I was like, but grandma, wow. And she always told me the hardest thing, she had a lot of hardships in her life, but she always told me that the worst thing a human can go through is mental illness. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? No, you're wrong. Out of all the illnesses throughout the family and things that you've seen and gone through, why are you telling me this? And she's like, listen, if you're not in the right mind, you won't. Mm-hmm. But with the same thing, she always told me, and she always taught me to be strong mentally. If you believe in yourself. And so that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I'm like, yes, it makes sense, I understand now. And again, because I've been in business, because I've seen it in thousands of clients, that there's always a way out. Throughout the 22 years that I've been in business, I've only had 2 times, unfortunately, where we lost a client because they were getting enrolled in the process and he couldn't take it. And when we called, because they stopped obviously paying, and we were like, hey, what happened with the enrollment and everything? The wife told us he committed suicide. Wow. And I was like, well, it was too late. We got there too late. So once I get a client, I am like, you're now part of our, and we're going to make it happen. Yes. But yeah, I know there's a lot of emotional, there's a lot of taboo, there's shame, and I understand because, I also feel shame. Mm-hmm. I'm not a rock. I'm also emotional.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, listen, it's, you had lived experiences. You guys also started over in a new country. That's stuff that I don't know what that's like, right? It's stuff that certain people can't relate to.
Right.
And also that's why you're so passionate about helping the people that do get that opportunity to start here, because like us, we know that if they land in the right hands, we can help mold them on the right path. Because there's so many paths.
Yes.
And everybody has a cousin that does something down here in South Florida.
Oh, I know.
And it's so easy for people to take bad advice and to get bad advice when they land here, when they come here. So we both struggle with that. Question for you. Let's talk about Goldman Sachs real quick. What was your perception of the program? What did you like the most? What did you take away?
You.
I know. This is great.
No, honestly, I'm not kidding. You and the cohort, our I don't know if every cohort is that special, but is it me?
It's funny that you say that, because I've talked to a couple people, and some of them say, oh, we kind of fell apart. I spoke to Federico on Monday, on a Zoom call. I think that we're special.
Yeah.
I think that we're special.
Honestly.
And I think that I don't know what it is. I actually do know what it is. My opinion of what it is. I think that everyone went there stripped.
Yeah.
There wasn't anybody that wasn't honest about what they're struggling with. I feel like nobody went there to put on a show. Everybody went and said, here's all my problems.
Exactly.
And I think that's why that has to be some part of the success of the group.
Because we all had something. We all still are vulnerable to like talk about it. We're like, oh, look, I'm struggling with this. And sometimes I feel like I'm a loser, but what am I doing wrong? And then I'm like, yes, I'm a rock star, you guys. Thank you, Michelle. It's just the way it is. But I also feel there was like a lot of synergy. I feel everybody there was actually good, legit good. And they're good at what they do and they love and they're passionate about it. And so, yes, I mean, Goldman Sachs, take the course. Like,
I agree.
apply if you
Everyone
qualify,
I talk
do
to,
it. Do it. And I always tell people, because being an entrepreneur is lovely, but it's also challenging, especially like most of my friends. I think I only have like one friend who's now I have a lot of friends from cohort, but before, like, you know, the high school friends that I grew up with or went to school, they're really not business owners. So sometimes you're like struggling and I talk to my family, but sometimes you want to talk to somebody outside and be like, oh, I'm going through this and get like a different perspective. And every time I would go to class, I would be like, okay, great. I love what they're going to teach me, but I like to hear what my cohort has to say, because they're actually the ones, the fighters. You guys are the ones going out there. You're all going through their own, your own things and making it happen. So that's why I'm telling you, and I love the cohort. I feel that we have good people. We are gonna make good things. I feel that there's a lot of projects developing. I definitely look forward to.
I think that, listen, there's no new information under the sun, right? The programming, it was great. And some of the modules were, depending on where you are in your business and what you're struggling with or what your strengths are, some of the modules were, I'm going to do some emails today. I'm here, but not focused. And other ones, it's like absorbing it all, right? The content is great. The delivery, the structure, all great. But there's no doubt that the community is the most critical part of that program.
Absolutely.
I don't know that I could have done it like during COVID and virtually.
No.
I think the experience would have been way different for me.
No.
Being in the room with 30 entrepreneurs local here, even that first day, I remember hearing the number of when they said, how many people we employ as a room, the revenue as a room. It was so impactful to me to know, man, just 30 people in this room really making it. It was like almost like 400, a little bit over 400 people that we employ. 30 people.
Yeah.
30 people that have created something that helps people send their children to school. Mm-hmm. Like it is impactful.
Absolutely.
To be in that room. I wouldn't trade it. Like, it was the best. I can't even believe it was this year. It feels already like so long ago.
I know.
But it's definitely a highlight of my year for sure. Probably my career. It's one of the top fives, I would say.
I am so grateful that we met there and that, we got to share it. And I agree with you. I feel that everybody as an entrepreneur should take it at least once. Yeah. There's things that, like you said, are going to resonate more, that you're going to be able to apply. Others, I remember I fought with the marketing guy. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do what you're recommending.
You weren't the only one.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to, this is how I dress. Yeah. This is my presentation. Like, you want me to be in sweatpants? I'm not going to do that, sir.
Excuse me, sir. That was a great day. No, he had some heat that day. Yeah. What do you think you've learned about yourself in business?
In business?
Being an entrepreneur, what do you think is the biggest, whether you were surprised or maybe it was something that you always knew you had in you and you were just waiting for it to come out?
I think I said it at some point how much I love what I do, how thankful I am to be a credit counselor. And like it was just like because I'm doing it every day, right? And I know I'm there, like, but for me to get out, or like when I do interviews and I'm out there and I'm not in my desk and I'm not with my crew and I'm not with my people, I'm not like, and I'm like, oh wow, or I'm on vacations for a while and then I come back and I'm like, I really love what I do, and this is why it doesn't feel like work, because I really enjoy it. I really I feel I'm talented. I know I am very passionate about it because I believe there's always a way out, and I'm always going to find that goal for you to accomplish and to make it happen. And the resilience that there has to be, to be an entrepreneur, right? And I feel that was something very humbling because it wasn't just me. Like I told you, like one day you go to class and you're like, yeah, and then the week after you're like, I don't know if
I should go get a job.
I don't know exactly what am I doing. Like, and I love the fact that with the group, they push you to see the goal, like, oh, you can make it, you can push the goal, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I understand, but I also feel how comfortable I am and how much I'm willing to do, and how, because we've also worked with different type of revenues in different times of our life with the company, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that responsibility from back there, or if I get there, I'm gonna get it in a different way, in a different approach, at my own pace, at my own time.
I love that you said that, because I was just talking to Federico about this on Monday. I feel like this program, even though like even in the first like 2-3 weeks, we did that exercise with the check, right? The $5,000, the $50,000, the $500,000 check. How much does that change your plan? A question I had never asked myself.
Right.
And I think that I realized that the program, literally what you just said, it kind of just gave me permission to grow the business the way it's natural to me. I think that, again, the internet, I'm in other masterminds and things are working for other people. And then you think, why am I so behind? Or maybe I should try that. Right. Maybe I should try cold calling. You know what? It's not in my nature. That's okay. I think I was able to like release like the pressure of trying to build a business the way everyone else builds an insurance agency. And it almost taught me like, why don't you just lean into your strengths?
Absolutely.
Instead of trying to be forcing it to do it this way that it worked for a man that's 65. Right? Like it's just, we're not the same person, and that's okay. I think that's really one of my biggest takeaways, where throughout the course, I don't know when it clicked, but leaving the course, I think I felt like, okay, here's what I'm really good at. Lean into that. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No. And the resilience, like,
right.
I love that. The mindset. It doesn't matter. Like tomorrow, everything can collapse. And I can promise you, if your mindset is right, you're going to go back, and we're going to, if everything goes to poof, we're going to start selling coconuts, because that's the only thing in this heat we can get out there. I'm telling you. I love that. I love the resilience and the community, and just, I don't know. I got that. And when I'm the most thankful is when, I pray every morning, and I put my clients and I put everyone in my list, and I'm like, thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for helping me make the change. And when I have challenges cases, because obviously like there's a lot of things happening sometimes to my clients, I am like, it's a little, I need extra help. So I send please send little angels and I need extra help here, because this is challenging. But just the mindset, the resilience, the community, it's just awesome. Like when we saw each other at the happy hour that I had, just seeing you all, it just gives you like that energy, right? Like I think Fede used to say that all the time, and I can take Fede because he was like, I love you guys.
He's
I love
a champion.
it. And he no, he's awesome. He's like such a big guy and what he's done and all that. But he was always giving us this positive feedback and telling it, no, you guys are making it, and that energy is very contagious.
It is. I would agree that that's probably the next best thing is, and that might be cohort specific, right? Like we didn't have anybody that was like down in the dumps. Like everybody was like there to learn, to grow, super aggressive to grow. Yeah, I agree with that.
But in a positive vibe, not in a shark vibe.
No hustle culture either. No. We weren't like hustle bros. No, in a healthy way.
Yeah, in a healthy way. And I appreciate that. And I've asked people like, are all the cohorts like this? Not necessarily, but it's good. It's good that we have a good group, and I know we're gonna.
Yeah, I'm glad I landed.
Possibly do good, projects together, and
Last question for you: what is the number one piece of business advice that you could leave an entrepreneur that's listening that maybe hasn't found their cohort or is in a silo by themselves, questioning their life decisions of why did I do this? What do you think is either what got you through the hard times or
the hard time. I mean, that again, I talk about my faith, but people always have a reason why they do what they do, whether it is their family, whether it is somebody that they lost. There's always a reason, and that is why. Like, I cannot fail. This is my family we're talking about. And when I am a little down, I lean on my people and vice versa. But you always have a reason why. And I always, when I am talking to somebody that is doing Uber and they have the picture of their family right there, I'm like, that's your reason. That's why you will always be successful, because you work for them and you believe in this. If I see somebody that is, they have a cross, I'm like, this is the reason. Like, there's always a reason, and you need to be resilient because you're not alone. And I like I told you, like, it's a community thing. But if you're not sure, or if you lean on the people that also, because we're not all, we're all emotional. Sometimes I feel down. Sometimes I need to hear from my clients, you're doing a good job, just like I did this morning, right? And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I agree with being having a solid why, right? Because this is hard.
Absolutely.
This is difficult, and if you're doing it for your son, you're doing it for your mom, whoever it is. But if you, on the bad days, when you have a strong why, that's what allows you to get up in the morning. Because sometimes it's not you. No. Sometimes if you're not disciplined, which this ride is also, some years I'm disciplined, some years I'm not. Like, it's,
no, you're
it's
very consistent. That's a lie, people. That's a lie. She's very consistent and very disciplined.
In general, right? It happens in entrepreneurship. There's just, and I like what you said too, just a couple minutes ago about the mindset. Like, it's funny because all the stuff that's like super cliche, it's so true.
Oh my God, absolutely.
It's so true. If you don't have your mind right, if you're not tough to the extent of not acknowledging your feelings and your emotions, just having the fortitude to get through 24 hours because tomorrow's another day and another opportunity to grow, to be better. It's tough. And if you don't have the community, this road cannot be done alone.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But look for that community, do the cohort. Yeah. Things that will help you, because you're not alone. Also find the crew, find the people that we have really good synergy. I didn't have to fake it or anything like that. That was me. That was me out there in the cohort. People either like you or they don't. And just with business, just feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel the connection, don't push it. Just look somewhere else. You will find somebody else.
There's enough business.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I know I told you 40 minutes, but
thank you.
We're an hour in and I could keep talking to you forever.
Yes,
thank you.
It's you. You are the best.
Tell everybody where they can find you, and we'll put it in the show notes too.
So in Spanish is mejoraelcredito.com. And Spanish is mybusinessolutions.com. In Google, we're Better Credit Solutions here in Coral Gables. And my 1-800 is 1-800-898-1319. In Spanish, 1-800-898-1319. And if not, you can, be like my bunker girl. Yeah. Where can I get that credit counselor?
It's going to be there. I'm going to put it all in the show notes. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your hard work, your advocacy, defending us and going to fight for us. Without people like you and your mom and your sister and your whole crew, how many people would be so lost and in other hands of maybe that wouldn't do it as good.
I don't know if they would find the passion and the love that we have for you, because I honestly feel that. That's why I'm so, of course you get tired at the end of the day, but because we are grateful, because we're doing passionately what we do for your clients and all that, it makes a difference. So thank you for letting me be here. Thank you for getting to know me. Thank you for being part of my life, Ciara.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you. And you're my first cohort guest.
Yay!
So
I feel so special.
I know. I might have chosen the best one, but don't tell anybody. Thank you so much.